Hello guys, my name is Tabs and welcome to Tabs Hope Hub channel. Today I am in Kenya. I am doing something that I have been really looking into hearing it from the horse mouth, and here I am today. I have this phenomenal, beautiful, amazing woman from Meru, Tharaka Nithi. Actually, we get the vote from her. So tuanze kumtafuta tumuongelesha mapema. So she has a story to tell. She has a lot to tell. And even before I introduce the next topic that we're gonna be talking about, here we are. She's gonna tell us about it. But first thing first, I would let her introduce herself. Please, karibu.
Asante. So my name is Nkatha Mugao, the founder and director of Frolics of Hope Africa, where we deal with children who've gone through violence, abuse, kidnapping and trafficking, early marriages and female genital mutilation.
Wow, thank you. Girl, you are amazing. You know, I've been looking for you for years.
Yeah.
After I saw your story somewhere, it was like a sneak peek of what you went through.
Yeah.
And that's the reason we are here, and we also want to know more about the Frolics of Hope and Africa.
Yeah.
Now, Mugao, allow me to call you Mugao, right?
Yeah.
Would you please tell us, who is Mugao?
Mugao is a mother of many. Okay. Biologically, I have one daughter. She's about 12.
Amazing.
And in my work, let me say that in my work, I'm a mother of about 43 kids. And
wait, 43?
Yes.
43 kids?
Yes.
Okay.
43. All the 43, they're actually children who've gone through abuse, violence, kidnapping. And although the kidnapping cases, most of them we've already done the reintegration.
Okay.
So I'm left with 43 that I support directly and that we sponsor through education and basic needs and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
And when were you born? Or where were you born?
I
Can
was
you tell us a
born-
little bit of your background?
I was born and brought up in Tharaka.
Tharaka, okay.
Yes. It's called Mkondi Ward.
Mhm.
They, you know the way they go to read those budgets.
Okay.
Kwa county assembly, and they call us a village, like Mkondi village. How now? It's an entire ward.
It is a ward.
It is a ward, but they keep on calling us a village.
Maybe it is a tiny one, and maybe it has not developed yet.
Not really. I think it's because a lot of us, grew up, and it's actually one of the most. It has some of the most learned fellows in Tharaka.
Oh, wow.
And so, with education, when you get educated a lot, most people tend to move away. So we've had like a lot of people moving. So they're just, the old guys left.
But let me ask you, I think they're supposed to move but come back and do the development.
Yeah, the development is there. Actually, it's one of the areas that at least more developed.
Is it
than
Kwakina
others.
Kiraito?
No, it's not Kwakina Kiretu. It's kwa kina Kithure Kindiki.
Oh, Kithure.
Yes.
Okay, that's awesome. So, how was your life like when you were growing up? You have siblings?
Yes, I do have siblings. I am an acting second born. I'm saying acting because there's a sister of mine who passed on when we were small, and she was the second born. So currently I'm occupying the space of a second born.
And I think you like that acting. I think I have seen it. I have seen that film.
Not so bad. Acting is good.
It's not a bad
it
thing.
actually makes
It's
people
always good to take
smile.
over,
And,
isn't it?
So yeah. And I grew up in Tharaka, as I said. I was born in a family where my parents were teachers.
Oh, both of them?
Both of them were teachers. My dad used to teach high school. My mom used to teach primary. What do you mean we were so? Because we were not.
No, when me and my sisters and others were growing up, we used to fear, what
walimu.
So and then now you're talking about both parents being teachers, both mom and dad.
Yeah.
You guys were lucky. So you never walked to school with no shoes.
Actually, it was a problem because you see the way you feel that we were privileged. For us, yes, it was a privilege, but you see, when it got to school now, it became another issue. because in the entire school, you're the only one who's got uniform, you're the only one who has books, you're the only one who has shoes, and sometimes socks.
And
so everybody's wondering.
You're not gonna get punished.
And everybody's wondering, what kind of a girl is this one? You know? So, in fact, it wasn't once or twice that I was beaten by my mom, because I used to get to, you know, unaona mali unavaa viatu, then when you get to school gates, you remove them.
So that's you want to be like others.
Yeah, because you want to be like everybody else, so you tuck them in your bag and then you wait.
Wow. So initially you feeling like the old.
You're the odd one. You're the odd one out. It's actually the same problem that most of these kids who are sponsored to school go through. Because I was also sponsored through university. So you can imagine you're at University of Nairobi. Everybody has all these other stuff going on, and you know you're the only one whose rent is being paid. You know, you're not struggling with rent. They even karibu wakununulia uniform ni venye university hakuna uniform. Because you're usually taken like a baby. So every month you have 12,000 stipend. Who is in school and earning anything? You know. Yeah. So, but yeah, those are things that, you know, some of the challenges, you know, like being privileged comes with.
But yours was different, really. I mean, different.
It was a different problem, by the way, but you see, you had to fit in because it's your community. That's where we grew up. You have to belong somewhere. Otherwise, you know, you standing out a lot makes people think that you're this very weird child. You know? Because you look the odd one out. Yeah, but it was actually not a bad place to be in, because we got the opportunity to, you know, like get, you know, the language training. For example, you know, you cannot tell whether I'm from Tharaka, because a lot of people tend to assume that if you're from Tharaka, you must have this heavy Meru accent. Exactly. You must be shrubbing here and there. You must, you know, like your language is not that good.
Actually, there is no way you are going to shrub in a kid from a
exactly. And not even teaching alone, because you see, my dad used to teach Swahili. So technically, Swahili, I am like up there. Then when it comes to English, then my mom was a primary school teacher who taught English.
Wow.
So there's nothing you're going to, you know, even when it came to grades in school, it was all that, you know, because in school when everybody is struggling with Fasihi and literature, you have someone to help you out.
And I know, and actually I have seen it, because when we were in school, all the kids that belong to the teachers, they tend to perform so well.
Yeah.
Number one, I think they didn't even have that fear, whereas we had that fear, like ukifanya hii unachapwa, you know, because other teacher will be like, chapa mtoto wa another teacher aje, because we saw those privileges.
Well, let me tell you, sisi tulikuwa tunanyoroshwa.
By who?
Well, not even that parent. By the way, ulikuwa unanyoroshwa shule, ukipatikana na mistake kwa barabara unanyoroshewa hapo, and then jioni wanaenda wanakushtaki. And making it worse now, your parents are teachers.
So they have to discipline.
Exactly. Kama mwalimu mwenzake anaona hapo, ndio wasiseme that, you know, they are favoring you and what not.
Yeah. So what school did you go to?
I went to Chogora Girls Boarding. Wow. Then I went to Chogora Girls High School. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'm a product of Chogora Girls.
I see it. I can see.
Yeah, we actually went to boarding. I went to boarding in 2000. I was in class 5. I was in class 5.
Okay.
Then 2004 we finished. 2003 we finished class 8. Then 2004 I joined Chogora Girls High School. Then from there, of course, it's a national school. Then and currently I hear they have a lot of privileges. In fact, us guys were really punished. You know, like we have
go back.
Given an opportunity, honestly, if it's the same school that I went to, I'd not go back there, because mama, we were beaten. We were beaten, and it was, and then the punishments that you were getting were very weird. You know, like uende ukashinde shule ukiosha nguruwe. You know, in a pigsty. Like, who does that?
International school.
And it's a national school, so why are we even doing this? And then, you know, there was this other punishment where you had a rough road. You know, like stretching, like the way you've come in from the corner there up to this other end. And it's a rough road, like it's just, you know, like very rough. And then you see, like the teacher in charge of discipline now comes and pours a lot of soap and detergent there, and then now you have to fetch water and wash it all the way from that end to this other end. You spend like 2 days doing the same thing, and if the head teacher finds you there, you have another punishment. So
wow, okay, that was
Yeah.
that. After high school, we went to
after
campus.
high school, I went to university, and I schooled at Nairobi University in our Kabete campus. We used to call it Kabete Pesa.
Oh, okay. I know Kabete. I used to
Yeah.
remember that.
Because you know it is a school of BCom, so a lot of people do business studies there and whatnot. And we also have the Kenya School of Government still at Lower Kabete. So
Okay.
a lot of things, a lot of opportunities we had down there, and they were all linked to money. So that's how we got Kabete Pesa.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. We have heard about your childhood, and now there is this topic or this thing that touched my heart, and that's the thing that has made me look for you. And that is where we want to go to, because I know it has been a journey.
Yeah.
And the reason, when I was doing introduction way before, I say. For me, the reason I started Hope Hub channel, it's because I want to encourage people out there. My main purpose is to give people hope.
Yeah.
And I know through what you went through, you will be able to encourage someone out there who think maybe it is the end of the road, or maybe who is thinking like, why should I, live to see tomorrow?
Yeah.
And it will also help someone maybe who is going through a tough or a rough time, to heal.
Yeah.
So I want us to take us through that journey of what happened.
Of what happened, what
transpired, and then
actually this story is a very kind of emotional one. If you listen to it like for the first time, myself, I think I'm slowly getting over that emotional bit of it. Sometimes I even laugh at, like you look back at what happened and you start laughing, because you're wondering, like, I mean, a lot, you've been through a lot, and here you are a living testimony, ready to give your story.
Exactly.
So my story goes back to when I was about 3 years. That was about in 1992, 91 there, no, 92, 93 there. So I was born in 1989. So having been born in 1989, to this couple, and remember, I'm a third born now in our family, because when my dad got married, they got married in 1984, no, 85, and of course, with African setup, where once you're married, babies come in fast and furious.
Yeah.
So my sister, our firstborn sister came in. She's called Dr. Gashiri, and then our second-born sister Patricia Muthon came in. Then I came in as the third-born. Okay. So as a third-born here now, of course, my mom they took a kind of a break, without looking for babies or getting more babies.
Yeah.
So we were actually the three of us for some time. And at the age of 3 years, actually even before the 3 years, my dad, kwanza, they go to teachers training college.
Yeah.
So he finished his college, and then he got a job at some secondary school in Tharaka. So when he got his first job, hata hakuwa na ile TSC number or anything, ni zile BOM jobs, so you're given the board of management job, so you're teaching.
Yeah.
So my dad, my grandmother now, now my dad has gotten a job.
Yeah.
So my grandmother now, the mother to my dad now, decides that juu umepata kazi, hii mshahara mimi ndio utakuwa naendea. Like it was like she had control of everything and everyone kwa hiyo boma. So everything that she did, everything anybody had to do there, she must have approved of it. So there wasn't any way that anybody can do anything against what she said, or she was
they didn't have freedom to do.
Yeah, there wasn't any freedom to do anything. So at some point, now after my dad got married, of course, they had their wedding in church and everything, because my shosho is trying to keep this image of a born again Christian, and the way people kind of, okay, I'm not judging her and saying she wasn't born again, but I mean, actions speak louder than
that's
words.
true, yeah.
And Bible says that you preach to people through your actions. So for me, looking back at the actions that she had, I wouldn't say that, you know, she was born again.
Yeah.
But anyway, she was still my grandmother.
Yeah.
And Bible says you love them as they come.
Yeah.
So I did my part. Anyway, so when my dad got the job, the first salary, my grandmother went for it. Yeah. And she's budgeting for pesa si yake.
And before we get to, there, did your grandma approve your dad marriage?
Of course, she didn't, because you see, my mom was Kamba. And my dad is a Mudaraka. So my mother being a Mukamba, apparently, you know, there was always this story of umemwendea juju, that's why amekukwa amelia. Because, you know, they had this girl that they had chosen for dad. And unfortunately now, my dad is not towing the line. Because you see, it's the mother who's this controlling and is the one who says who comes in and who goes out.
Yeah.
So my mother now is actually left in a fix. You know, like she was actually, and by the way, in as much as she went through a lot in their hands, she still loved them anyway. And it was actually one of the biggest questions that we always asked her, like, how do you manage to love these so evil people? Like, despite all they've done for you, you'll never speak any ill against them. You'll never speak anything bad. But then you'd never hear my mom talk anything. She would never raise her voice against anyone. She would never even point a finger at anyone. She wouldn't even go gossiping about you.
I think it was a good example of what Christianity should
Exactly,
be, right?
exactly. So now, after my grandma going to pick the salo. See, now my dad, at some point, you know, because the money when it comes, it's not like going to him and us as the family. It's directed to something else, and my dad has to struggle now to find money to pay our bills and, you know, keep us yeah. So at some point, actually, I remember the first incidents of trauma that I remember is a time that my dad was in school and my mom had also gone to school. So you remember their teachers.
Yeah.
So wameenda kufunza. So tumebaki nyumbani, we don't even have a maid, because remember, it's my grandma who took the salary. So my dad cannot afford to pay a house help. He cannot afford to even get us the basics. So literally everything that we have is given by the grandmother. So even the food comes from her. Everything comes from her. Whatever we want must come from her. So this day when my dad went to school, we were left with 3 of us. So at some point, you know, we were not given food. So we are very hungry. Yeah, the whole day we actually starved. By the time dad was coming home at 4, we were pretty hungry.
Do you think the granny was doing this to punish your mom?
It was actually a more of a revolt for her, because, you know, like you're not my children, you're not wanted, you know, you're not wanted here. Because that day, actually, my sister, I don't even know where she got the idea from, but there was a pawpaw tree that was there. So she goes there and picks the papai, and then now, and you know they are green, eh? It's not like they're ripe. Na ni tudogo hivi hata tujakoma. So she goes and picks them and comes and boils. Yeah. So akaweka tu kwa sufuria alafu akakatini. Njaa imetushika and there's nothing we can eat, and we are kids the whole morning, we've not eaten the whole day. So it's now lunchtime na hakuna dalili ya kupewa chakula. So my sister goes and comes and boils them. So grandma now comes and finds tukichemshiwa zile mapapai zenye si ripe. And guess what? She chukuas the sufuria and throws it away. And then she comes, you know, like, because me, I was the smallest. I was actually like a year old. So nimeka tu hapo hivyo. So, you know, like, I can't move, I can't do much. So I'm just watching everybody else doing stuff. So now mimi nimelala kwa mkeka hapo. And she comes and, you know, anakuruka. And then she's like, in fact, I remember she kicked me. And she was like, tokeni hapa katapila nyinyi. You know the way you say it in Kimeru and it sounds so pathetic. But you know the way you see that ant hill. You see the ant hill, and then there's a queen there. Now the queen of the ants. It's actually a caterpillar. Not even the caterpillar for the butterfly. Wow. You see the big ones that you find kwa shamba, especially kama umemwaga mbolea. those white mangunyos that you find kwa nini. That's why she called me Kibiro.
So she didn't like your mom and
she never liked my mom, and so everything else was poured on us. Because you see, we are here, we cannot do anything, and she probably thought my mother would defend herself, so she can't approach her directly, so she had to find something to do. So yeah, that was the first time, and until today that word stuck with me. So that tells you how powerful the words that we speak to our, like he's come to our place. So now hiyo ndio sababu amefungiwa nyumba, so he has to sleep outside or he comes back home. So anarudi kwetu, anakuja analala, then asubuhi tunampea chakula, lunch anakuja anakula, supper atakuja akule. So yeah, we got used to that, and he couldn't even defend himself. In fact, and that mama was loud.
Yes.
Do you know a drama queen in wachana na yeye yenye mnasemanga drama hapa ati sidu umenyang'anywa bwana sijui ati now you're causing drama. That's a show. Hiyo ni show. That's shadow. That mama. But they should fight anything.
And she was from Meru herself.
She's a Motharaka.
Okay, wow.
And I'm telling you, she could fight with anything and anybody as long as it is breathing. Mpaka ng'ombe. By the way, she was that bad. Me, I'm telling you for free. She's my grandmother and nilimupenda, and I'm actually named, is it named after her or something? She's the one who gave me a name or something.
Oh, wow.
And I can tell you for free, that mama was a drama queen. A drama queen.
And so at what time did she ever stopped,
She never stopped. Because you see, after Sasa, my dad, I just told you it got so bad that we couldn't even afford food, we couldn't afford even clothing. Like basically everything we needed, we had to get it from my grandma. So it figured at a point now, my dad was like, no, nah, we're not doing this. Because you see, I'm married, I have a family to feed, I have kids, I have a wife, and they all have needs. So there's no way I'm giving you my salary. So that is now what escalated the whole thing.
Yeah.
So now it became now drama after drama after drama. Should even hata anaamka asubuhi, mmeamka tu 6 vizuri kama watoto wazuri, kama boma mzuri, kidogo kidogo mnasikia mtu anapiga nduru kwa shamba anakuja kwenu. So you're like, what did we do this time?
What?
Na sasa hiyo ndio mmeamka hata mjaosha uso. So what did we do this time? So she comes, anga sijui kuku za nani zimefanya nini, anga sijui nani amekanyaga shamba ya nani. Literally fighting for nothing. Out of me, I'm telling you that mama was petty. You talk about drama za Kilimani moms and you guys, I have seen drama. That mama.
And at a tender age.
Yes. Me, I'm telling you, I can recall everything. Even at some point, I think I was like 4 years. So this evening, my mom, alichomoka, actually they had a conference, I think in Meru. So she being a teacher and a HOD and a deputy teacher, discipline and whatnot. Sasa yeye ndio anaenda ku represent shule. She went to Meru. Akaenda kaka huko siku ngapi? Mbili. And then she tells us, Sayo, by the way, one of our aunties walikuwa wamepigana na bwanake. The way, I'm telling you, my family drama and them. Ni kama maji na maziwa. Lazima tu washikane tu mahali ka drama tu mahali kako wako.
Lazima ikue.
So now this time my aunt now wamepigana na bwanake. So she comes over and now pretends that ameambiwa na shosho akuje atukalishe sababu mama yuko. As they wait to talk, wasuluhishe na bwana yake. So the mama stays. But my mom, before she leaves, she tells us, nyinyi nimewaacha hii nyumba. Anything mmepikiwa, mukikula, mukikufa, mimi nisiulizwe. Mumesikia? Dad akaambiwa the same. Anything that's cooked by her, we shouldn't eat. So this evening, my dad, that evening, akaenda kanunua, this auntie now, akaenda kanunua kanyama. Hakuja. The way unapenda kujipendekeza kwa watu. So akanunua kanyama akakuja nako. So which child doesn't love nyama?
Plus it is ushago.
Get nyama once in a blue moon.
Yeah.
So nyama comes. Akaitengeneza vizuri. She cooked properly kwanza. Na hiyo ni supper. Then now out of the sky blues, my dad now comes. He's like amejaza asira kutoka hapa mpaka huko. You know, so it is actually the first time we ever saw that angle. Like anatuonyesha, because you see the way couples fight.
Yeah.
They would always fight in their bedrooms. Wakiamka,
it looked like they
we have no idea they ever fought. We have no clue there was anything going on. So sisi tulikuwa tumefunikiwa. So this day, I think they fought with the brother. So he stormed the house. Do you know storming? Ile alikuwa anapita na milango. Express akiendanga. So ananini anapita, and this time anasema ati kwa hii nyumba mkinichezea nitanunua gun. We are like ati. And you know he's not telling us, and we cannot see nani anaongeleshwa.
And this is the first time he's saying this.
This is the first time tunaona sarakasi kama hii. Do you know kila mtu alisimama kwa kona yake. Umeona venye unasimamanga ni kama umejificha usiku tu.
And we're saying before that we had never seen
like
your dad and mom
we
fighting.
We had never seen that anger. We had, hata sisi tukikoseanga tulikuwa tunanyoroshwa. But they would chapa you na viboko 3 za crocodile. Anakuhesabia mpaka ukojoe ndio atakuacha. Ujikojolee ndio akuacha.
Okay, now the dad has come in.
So he's here and he's very angry. He doesn't, yani we can't see anaongea na nani. He just stormed the house. We don't even know what's going on. So akapita. So akipita venye amepita, because you know ukiingia the house venye ilikuwa imejengwa, ulikuwa unaingia kwa porch kama hapa, then sitting room, then unapita kitchen. Sindio? So hapa between sitting room and kitchen hapa katikati kuna bedrooms mbili zilikuwa hapo. Alafu hapa katikati ya kitchen kuna bafu na choo, then kuna our bedrooms inside. So he stormed express akipita kitchen. So he didn't go to the kitchen. Alifika tu karibu na mlango. Then anakutana na huyu auntie amebeba chakula zake. Zile manyama zake. Out of the, by the kasufuria kaligongwa.
Oh yeah?
Yani, I'm telling you, this was the first time I ever saw my dad. And the first and the last I ever saw my dad angry. I had never seen my dad that angry in someone. Alipita na masufuria za huyo mama. My aunt. Mpaka hata yeye alisimama tu kama, you know the way you stand like this, unangojea uambiwe kama
you were wondering what's going on.
Nakwambia hata yeye alisimama hiyo attention hiyo. Na masufuria zake akishangaa na sasa zimegongwa zimeanguka nje. You know there was like a corridor by the way after kitchen. Yeah. After kitchen choo ni bafu, then there was like a corridor hapa. Kasufuria kaligongwa kalienda kupiga kona. Kwa kakaanguka nje. Na machakula zake zikaanguka nje. So now you know nje sasa si unajua ni ushago setup. Yeah. So kuna kuku, kuna bata, we used to have all that.
Yeah.
So hizi kuku nao sisi zimeona nyama na manyanyazi na manini zimetupwa nje. So the kuku ran to eat. Hema. Hata zikukaa 5 minutes. All of them died.
Wait.
Yes. All of them died. Hata zikumaliza 5 minutes.
So initially your auntie.
So essentially here what I'm saying is the food was poisoned.
And let me take you back. So do you think the drama in her house between her and the husband was stage managed?
It was stage managed. It wasn't a real drama. It wasn't a real drama.
It was a fake fight.
It was a plan. They had a plan with the mother.
And who was the target? Was it the kids or your dad or?
No, the target was the whole family. Because you see my dad is not toeing the line. 1, ashakata mshahara yake sichukuliwe. 2, amekataa bibi mwenye ameletewa. You're getting the drift.
Ameamua kukaa na mkamba.
Ameamua kukaa na huyu mkamba. So they even started saying huyu mkamba na amemwekea juju, that's why he's not budging. You know, like ni urogi gani yu umeekewa ndio mpaka uwezi sikiza mamako. You know. So everything else was being done now. It shifted now from mom and dad to everybody.
So, for a minute your dad has come home. He's angry. Do you think maybe someone told him something about the planned deal? Because
no, I don't think it was for me, if you ask me, I think it was God, because hata yeye mwenyewe alishtuka wakati kuku zilikufa. He also didn't have a clue. Wow. He also had no idea what was going on.
Can you please tell us what happened? Kuku zimekufa sasa.
Kuku zimekufa. So after kuku zimekufa, you know, my dad, and you know, he's still angry. So he's not telling us what is eating the other here. So sisi tumebaki in blanks, tunajaribu kujijazia what's going on. So my dad, apparently they had quarreled with the elder brother. So I don't know what they were fighting about. So I think ni zile, you know, the way mnakosananga na brother ko na alafu anakuchokoza, you know, like he'll probably give you some stories of, you know, or some stuff that, you know, ama kuthreaten. You know the way they make those, you know, naeza kuua ama naeza fanya, you know, those weird, you know. So threats. So after dad is here na actually kuku after zimekufa now, my dad also stands. Hata yeye amesimama hapo. You know, like, you know, hata sisi tulishtuka tukatoka nje kuona unaangalia kuku zote zimekufa. So we are like, So you see now at this point my aunt realizes that na plan yake is not going to backfire. So now she starts now to pretend. Kwani nyama ilikuwa na nini? Mbona kuku, you know, she's actually the one now causing the drama in the name of she's shocked. And sisi tunashangaa. Unajua kila mtu amesimama tu kwa mlango hivi. And we are all calling dad, kuja uone. And you know, mpaka tukaambiwa tufukuze zingine ndio zisikufe. So you know, after that dad akachukua kuku akaenda akanimia kabari zote. Akasema hakuna mtu anakula kitu kama hii. So he buried all of them. There are actually more than 30.
And was the incident reported, Oma?
There was no report. It's a family drama. See, I'm telling you, it's a family drama. So why are you reporting anything? There was no report done. So kila kitu, you know, like everybody.
No, but I think that should have taken, even if it was a family drama.
Even if you report, utareport kwa nani, kwa chief. Then the chief comes and discusses the same issue. And goes back to normal.
When did your mom come back and what happened?
Now, listen, before when my mom comes back, my dad fukuzas the sister. Now after being fukuzwad, now this one now becomes now the third issue that we have against you. Umefukuza sister yako na amefukuzwa na bwanake. Unataka aende wapi? Kwako ndio kuna nyumba.
In the real sense, this thing was state managed because they wanted to eliminate the whole family.
Yeah.
And now it is
so now you're
adding been catered.
Exactly. So now you're adding more issues on top of what you already have.
Goodness.
You get how it's growing. You get how it's going. Like unaendelea tu kujaziliwa mashida hapa. So that was at the age of 4. So my mom comes back from school and she's like, Siniliwambia, me, I know this family. Niliwambia. So me, you know, we are like, okay, sawa, ulishatuambia na tunakusikia. You know?
Yeah.
So
it has happened.
We have seen it. So what do we do? So the next time now she comes, the aunt now comes back. She's like, mtoto wangu ni mgonjwa na nilikuwa nataka pesa. My dad is like, sina pesa. So wewe enda tu uombe pesa kwa mama yako ama uongee na bwanako. Si hata yeye ni mwalimu kama mimi. Ndio nimuombe pesa apeleke mtoto wake shule au hospitali. So now this one, now that umenyimwa pesa, also now contributes. You know, like you cannot say no to anybody. You cannot say no to anything. You get? Yeah. So you don't have that freedom that everybody else is entitled to. So at the age of 5, these other smaller aunt, now the sister now to dad, the same one but a different now sister, now is getting married. So the first attempt ya kutuua imekosa nini? Imekosa haikuwork, backfire. So this time around they plan it. Yeah? With the huyu jamaa mwenye initially finally killed dad. So they plan everything together. Huyu msichana tunaenda harusi yake. She's getting married somewhere like about what? Like 100 kilometers away. So tukakomboa gari kama kawaida like watu wa ushago tu. But this one was a family car. So ni mimi, dad, sister zangu wawili, and then mom, then of course we have now these other aunties. So tumeenda vizuri. Tukaenda wakafanya harusi. So now we are on our way back.
Yeah.
So on our way back, while at the reception, this uncle now, the last brother to dad, decides to tamper with the brakes. Zagari. And now because the sisters know the plan, they refuse to
get
into the car. So we just left the family. And these are the driver.
And so the car did not belong to your dad?
It wasn't my dad's, we hired a vehicle.
Okay.
Just like what Ushago. So unajua zile Land Rover za kitambo zile za Face Me. So we hired one and tukaenda harusi. So on our way back, the car rolled. Sasa unajaribu kukanyaga brakes, you don't have brakes. Nobody told you hauna brakes. The driver is not aware. Sisi, we are not aware. My dad is not aware. So the driver is like, hatuna brakes. So you mnateremka milima. You know Meru? The way Meru is up and down, eh? We rolled 5 times.
The whole family.
The whole family. Mimi, sistangu Patricia, the second born, na dad tulikuwa tumekaa mbele. So guess who chomokas through the windscreen? Patricia goes first. Mimi, I come running. I followed her. So Patricia goes, anakutana na lami. So she goes head first. She passed on the spot. Sasa mali nilikuwa nimeketi kwa gari, you know the hapo ni mbele hapo ndio walikuwa hizo Land Rover ndio wanaekanga batteries. So battery ya gari pale nayo ikanifuata. So me as I'm going up, me you know the way gari na roll, si ndio unarushwa nje. So nikienda hivyo juu, dress yangu ikashika moto. Do you know the nini, you know the battery iko pale chini, alafu juu ile impact imefunguka.
Yeah.
So it follows me. So dress yangu ikashika moto. So as I land, I'm landing na dress iko na moto. I'm landing kwa lami. Alafu nimepitia kwa windscreen. Until today, I have scars to show for that. I stayed in a coma for 3 months. Then later 6 months, ndio nilikuwa na discharge. So everybody else had given up on me. Literally. Mpaka mamangu alikuwa ashaambiwa huyu haponi. Hata akipona kitakuwa kiwete. You're not going with this one anywhere.
Now, what injuries did you get? Number one, I know you had burns, right?
Of course my bum here ilichomeka proper. I mean proper. Eh. And then you see now, juu nimeenda nimeland. Actually nililand kama nimesimama. So hii mguu yangu hapa hivi ikanini. You know the way unaweza umia venye unaweza weka mkono hapa. Because I remember nilieka a whole ngumi. Hapa hivi kaingia hivi, ni nyama tu ilikuwa imebaki. So even if you look at my hand, you see, this is many.
Yeah, I see.
You see, it stretches from here, all the way here.
So this was a fracture.
What? Nilikatwa na kioo ya gari. Juu nimetokea kwa windscreen. So here we had to put a, unaona venye ukifanya hivi ina nini? Ina form kinini hapa. So there's a it's actually a chuma that's been put here. There's a chuma that was put here to connect to connect this side na hapa. The same thing for the leg.
How old were you then?
I was 5.
And the first incident you were how old?
3. Okay. We are 5 years now.
And was there any reason, any comical reason as to why this family wanted to eliminate you? Is it simply because your dad could stand on his feet and say...
Exactly, because he had a voice. You see, my dad was actually born again. Yeah, and you know, he'd seen a lot of stuff that used to go.
But remember,
to
the
happen.
other members were born again as well.
No, we are born again in terms of we were brought up in a Christian family, and so we have to behave in a certain manner just to keep our Christianity and to keep the titles, yeah, church, yeah, lady, and as doing. That was the born again that was happening. But you see now, my dad is very categorical. Like, this is what happens here, and this is what is going to happen. This is my family, and for me and my family, we'll serve God. He was very specific on that. Like mpaka it at a point he was even appointed a church lay leader. And at this point, him being a church lay leader, my grandmother is a church lady. So you have to keep this title. That's why you cannot expose anything out there. You cannot go to report. You cannot say anything because your mom has an image to keep. Okay?
Yeah.
Sababu anajulikana ameokoka.
So you got an accident. You lost a sister on the spot. You got burns and fractures. How about your mom and dad?
Actually my sister is the one who didn't even like get like anything. In fact, she only left there with a scratch. Kwa uso tu hapa. Just a scratch. You know the way unaweza kuwa watu ulikuwa unatembea alafu ukaanguka. That was it for her. She didn't have anything like anything major. But now my mom had a broken hand. At some point ikabidi akatwa kidole. So she didn't have this kidole. She didn't have on the left hand. She didn't have this kidole. And then this the vidole here, they also had to like kushonwa. So you know the way people zinaitangwa aje. This ugonjwa yenye ukipata kidole inakuanga imesimama hivi. Like your knee becomes
structures.
They become very stiff. So my mom's fingers could not like fold. And remember amekatwa hii kidole. So hii mkono yake couldn't like move. So it became like permanently stuck there. So she had to learn to operate with one hand, and then now how she like empower this other one to be able to support this one in case she needs to lift anything or such. Yeah.
And how about your dad?
My dad didn't have any injuries.
So your dad and the sister, the elder sister,
yeah,
they were okay.
They were okay. Our firstborn and my dad, they were very okay. Mimi na my mom ndio tulikuwa tu na nini, but mine were the most. Of course with my sister, because my sister alipasuka kichwa, and that was it. Like she didn't even get to hospital. She was only 4. No, she was about, I was 5, she was 6. Yeah.
Wow, that's painful. And so after that again.
Now after that, of course they go to a nini of silence, a moment of silence, ile kupigana tu ya kawaida, nothing much nini. Of course they tried poisoning us again. Still didn't work out. By the way, I think all along Mungu alitufunikia. Because if you look at that journey, it's not a journey that you like unahepa tu hivi. No. Me, by the way, looking back, I think Mungu alikuwa ametufunikia, and it wasn't time yet.
No, it wasn't.
It wasn't, and that's what I'm saying. It wasn't time yet because like for all that long, my dad was just like moving around with his own businesses, his school, and and he got promotions after promotions. He would get duties after duty, jobs after jobs. So it was until he was actually, by the time he was passing on, by the way, he was like his subjects were the best in the entire Meru region.
Wow.
So like everybody knew him. And then he'd also been chosen to as a chairman for NCCK. So it was, it was everything that was everything was coming into place.
So I think the more they were trying to bring him down, the more God was elevating
him. So even as much as things were not working out for my aunties and whatnot, on our side things were looking up. At that point now akajenga nyumba mpaka 14 bedroom bungalow still in Tharaka there. Like he had a lot of developments going on. So I think that is what now contributed to this final murder. Because initially the previous months the sisters and the brothers kept on complaining that he was getting richer than them. Haraka.
And is it a problem?
And that was actually their biggest problem now, because you see, one, they've said that Kamba mekwekea juju, they didn't succeed in that one. They've tried poisoning us, it's not working. But the way ukiona mtu ameamua kukuua asubuhi at 7 in a public place, it's not like that tumeenda tumejificha. The way you read books at sijui mulienda, someone was called somewhere, or you're watching a movie,
someone was sent to poison so and
so. Ama watu akafumaniwa kwa bedroom or something. It was outside. Chana peupe.
Can you please tell us what happened?
So that day I was actually, like Ndomo put it, I was at the right place at the wrong time. because that morning, see, it was a holiday. Ndio nilikuwa nimemaliza KCSE. So I finished Form 4.
So you were barely 18 years.
I was 17. So nimemaliza Form 4. Tumemaliza exams, nimeenda nyumbani. It was just like 3 or 4 days after tumefika nyumbani. So tumefika nyumbani, and because it's a holiday season, then my mom alikuwa anatoka, she had enrolled for a degree. It was a master's in special education. So alikuwa anafanya hiyo program at Kemu University and KISE, Kenya Special Institute of Special Education. So she was studying there during holidays. So tumefunga shule, yeye ameenda class Kemu Meru. So tumebaki na dad. So my dad hiyo asubuhi akaamka and he tells me nichemshie maji ya kuoga. So we chemshia him water, then tukaekelea maji ya chai because we are preparing breakfast now ndio aende shule. So the elder brother now comes calling. Ati tumeitwa na father tuende tukaongee. So the previous week dad alikuwa amespray ndengu kwa shamba. So wakati alispray hizo ndengu, kuku za the younger brother now akakuwa ameziachilia, so they came and kula ndengu.
So ndengu alikuwa amespray like herbicides
just kawaida tu, you know. Yeah. So alikuwa amespray ndengu hivyo ndio at least zisipate hizo au wadudu. So the cuckoos came na zikakula. Hata ni kuku mbili, it's not like ati ni kuku mingi.
Na zote zilikufa 30.
Na si hata ni kuku mingi we are discussing here. We're talking about 2 chickens. So hizo kuku zikakuja zikakula ndengu. So they died. Then now in the story wanaenda kufanya nini? Kusuluhisha. So my dad venye amekuja ameitwa akaenda. So venye ameenda akatuambia sasa breakfast iko karibu kukua ready. Ikikuwa ready, what you do, tuma Timo aende alete mkate alafu mtaniita ikikuwa ready. So you know ni kwa soko, so it's some distance, ni kama kutoka hapa mpaka mali pale center mali mmeacha. So it's some distance mali mtu anaweza chukua at least 10-15 minutes. So mimi nikapika chai, it's ready. My brother, I sent him, akaenda akaleta mkate. So we prepare breakfast. I leave everything there. Dada ameniambia ikiiva nifanye nini? Niende nimuite. So I go. Naenda kumtania chai. Because you know my dad is like, hii ni kitu rahisi, hii si story mingi.
Yeah.
So akaenda venye tu alifika tu hivi. In fact I followed like almost immediately because it didn't like take, so you know the other brothers were not there, so lazima kila mtu angekuja. So my dad goes sits down, then the bigger brother akasema anaendea jacket. So he goes to pick the jacket, then on his way back. So ni kama huyu brother yake mkubwa was not aware of the plan. So that's why like when he said anaendea jacket, it sounded very okay.
Yeah.
So at that point ndio sasa my dad was attacked because you see now the only person who could have saved him is not there. Ameendea
the one who went for jacket.
Ameendea jacket. So the small brother huku kuzake zilikufa, now comes na kiti amebeba. Ati anakuja mkutano wakuja suluhisha hii maneno yangu. So huku ndani ameweka panga. You see the way the way Meru's walk, by the way Meru akitembea in their belts. Lazima kuna nini hapa? Kuna kipanga hapa ama kuna kisu inside. So huwezi kutana na Meru.
Do you have one?
No, I don't. I don't have.
Okay.
But that is more like cultural for them. I don't know if it's cultural, it's an upbringing or something.
Yeah.
But
same like
but more like all men actually. Ukiona tu mwanaume akona mshipi tu hivi, jua hapo ndani kuna kitu na kitu. So this guy amevaa ma jacket hivi alafu amefunikia ile panga, so nobody sees the panga. And remember the other brothers and the sisters, they are in on the plan.
Yeah.
So technically hakuna venye wataongea. So me time sasa nimefika kusema chai imeiva, ndio the brother sasa anafika. Huyu brother mdogo mwenye kuku zake zilikufa. So na yeye ndio anafika. And then now he puts the kitty down. Then out of his trousers now he pulls the panga. Na hii kitty ameiweka next to that. So ameiwekelea tu hapo. Then he pulls the panga. and the first thing he does is cut him here.
So they didn't even talk, they didn't even
There was
try
no talk.
to solve the problem.
There was no discussion. It wasn't a fight. Ati tumepigana ati
So
ndio.
it's like, this is the day.
This is the day. We are here. One, umekataa kusikiza mama. Okay? You will not give us your money, you will not give us your salary, you will not you'll also not give us you'll also not listen to divorce. You'll also not, you know, like host us in your house. You'll not do anything that we say. So you're not towing the line, in a nutshell. So what do? We have to deal with you. Yeah, and that's what happened. Akamkata panga ya hapa. My dad fell down, like face first. I was at the right place at the wrong time. Remember mimi nimeitwa nifanye nini?
Umeenda kuitia.
Nimeamua ni kuja nitanie chai. So I'm here nikitania nini? Chai. Ndio nimekuja kusema chai imeiva ndio na feed. Actually ndio nilikuwa nimeingia. Hata sikuwa nimewafikia.
Did this uncle see you before?
Sikuwa nimewafikia. Okay. You know, see, it's not a place kama hii. It's a place mali nyumba iko kwa kona huko. So mkiingia lazima it's a distance hapa. And then kuna tumiti. So hata ukiingia kwa gate hautaonekana. So kuna vile unaweza jificha ficha hapo kabla uwafikie. So mimi nilikuwa actually ndio nilikuwa sasa natembea nikiingia. So you know you can see someone from the gate but wao hawezi kuona. So me I would see. So mimi nikaenda kwanza nikasimama nikajificha nyuma ya mti. There was a tree that actually almost at the center of the compound. Ilikuwa hapo hivyo. So lakini kuna zile maua za barabara zenye zimepandwa hivi. The ones that you trim properly and then sasa zilikuwa zimepandwa hivyo. So na mimi nikaenda nikajificha hapo. So I watched. And I was like, nobody is saying anything. My dad ameanguka chini pale and this dude is like anaendelea kuinua panga anataka kumkata and my dad akainua nini ndio kujizuia mkono. So panga ikakuja ikamkata hapa. So after kuona hivyo now the second this time I screamed. Si wakajua hapa kuna kamtu. And you know,
then what's the door?
And you see now the size of Blessed mwenye alikuwa hapa, mwenye amevaa red. That was me. That was my size. Alafu sasa niko kanono. Niko kafupi, kanono. So that was it. So I screamed. So I'm screaming now, they realize hapa kuna mtu na huyo ataenda kutusema. So me I'm screaming and now you see ni asubuhi because it was around 6:37 there. So I'm screaming and everybody now ndio watu kwa kijiji wameamka. So kila mtu anakuja either una kiberiti, unakuja kuomba maziwa, unakuja kununua moto, unataka ukuje kuwakisha, you know. So the kawaida setup ya kijiji. So everybody ako kwa barabara saa hiyo time ndio wanatoka either watoto wanaendea maziwa ama ndio wanaenda kwa maduka. So literally there were people on the road. So venye walisikia nime scream, so people now started running and wondering nini. Wanakuja kuchungulia kuona. So me I'm running actually after wamesikia nime scream now my aunties now start running after me. So mimi nikachomoka mbio. Nikakimbia and I'm running nikiscream pia. So it's not like I'm quiet.
Yeah.
So I'm screaming, pointing at whatever is happening. Nikiwaambia wameua dad and I'm running for my life. So mimi nikakimbia some distance like from here to maybe pale kwa lami. Nikakutana na nikaingia kwa nyumba ya one of the cousins wa dad. He was a reverend. Nilimpata hapo nje akibrush meno. So ako busy na brush meno, hata sikumsalimia. Nilipita tu nikiscream nikaenda bedroom. I didn't know it was his bedroom by the way. I didn't know because I had never like entered his house before. Ni wale you know the people that mnakutananga ama kama ni cousins wako mmeenda mmecheza na wao nje. So you don't get the opportunity ya kuingia kwa manyumba usoro uone nini inaendelea. So I never entered his house before. So mimi venye niliingia nikaona hii mlango ya hii side ya hii room ya hii side imefungwa, hii imefunguliwa. That's how I entered. Nikaingia express, nikaingia chini ya kitanda. So when they came now, ndio wakakuja sasa wakiulizia na hako kama mtu kako wapi, kameenda wapi, umekaona wapi. So my uncle because you see now, aku notice nimeenda aje. Because you know he never like seen me get into his house. And I had also never entered his house. So it wasn't even something that would have crossed my mind. So mi nikaingia chini hapo. So for him it was like sijui hata ameenda wapi, but nimeona amepita hapa, sijui ameenda wapi, mnamtafutia nini. So they didn't say. So they were just busy like kameenda wapi. So they started looking for me around the compound na kwa shamba. So thinking labda nishapita kaenda. So na mimi niko tu chini ya kitanda, I am so quiet and listening. Juu sasa unajua ni ile tu kuhema. Juu number 1 umekimbia, number 2 umeshtuka. You know, number 3 you're certain you could be next. So mimi nikakaa tu hapo. I didn't even move. Wakanini venye sasa si nimescream nikiitana the cousins and the other brothers were the other cousins wakakuja wa dad wakakuja sasa, so they took nini wakachukua gari wakampeleka usi, but by the time anafika let's go. Yeah. Na mimi now from that day I became a refugee in my own country, literally running for my dear life.
So your dad died there and there?
Yeah.
He was not taken to a hospital?
No, he was taken to the hospital, but by the time they got there,
he was gone?
Yeah. Because it's a distance.
And your mom was in school pursuing her master's, right?
Yeah, she was in school. Because you see, all this time, nobody knew it would happen. So until, actually nobody told her, until now, wakati alipiga simu ya dad, then I answered. So I think that's where now she got, you know, the whole idea of what could have happened. Because the first thing she asked me was, where is your dad? Nikamwambia mbona ongea na auntie hapa. And that's why.
Now, whose auntie is this? Ni auntie from the dad?
No, the cousin. This auntie was married to one of the cousins.
Okay.
So they were not part of all this. So sasa ndio nili. Actually they used to teach together. So alikuwa nini sasa ndio venye ili happen ndio sasa yeye alikuja kutukalisha. Asubuhi.
And when your dad was being killed, that moment, was your grandma?
She was there. Actually, everybody else was there.
Even the grandpa?
Even my grandpa, yeye ndio alitana. Yeye ndio apparently ndio alikuwa ameitana. Of course, not my grandpa who had called the meeting. It was the mama.
The younger.
It was the mama who had called the meeting. It wasn't my grandpa. Because my grandpa, remember, he doesn't have a say in this house. He cannot even say like lift your leg. He can't. Lift your hand. He can't. You know, like yeye amekaliwa tu amekorogewa hapo. He can't do anything, he can't say anything, he can't, you know. Yeah. So it's my grandma who had called for the meeting. And for her, she was there, and you know, amesimama tu kwa mlango. You know the way you stand anaanza kimbo. Like umenyira mtu hivi umekasirikia ni kama amekufanyia kitu. That's all she was. That's where she was. Standing there, not doing anything. She didn't even say anything.
Now, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And I thank God you are able to tell us about the horrific thing that you went through. Now, did the funeral happen? Did they attend to the funeral?
Of course they came to attend the funeral pretending they were remorseful.
Let me cut you short. At this particular point, you know they had tried to eliminate you guys for several occasions, but it was never successful. Now, the dad is gone. Did your mom take any action?
It was actually let me take you back to that morning. So after, of course I came out after nimejificha. So nimejificha chini ya kitanda, and then I heard the police have come. So after kitu like about 30 minutes ndio polisi walifika. So when wamefika, that's the time now nilichomoka. And for some weird reason, I have no clue, I have no recollection nilitoa kisu wapi. Yeah,
but you are a lady.
No, I didn't have a knife. Like nikitoka home, I didn't have a knife. It was just me walking. Hivyo tu mkono tupu, I had no clue what was going on. So venye nilitoka, I just, you know, like polisi wamekuja, then you know the community now has already gathered there, and they're very angry with this guy. This jamaa ametoroka, and ameacha bibi na watoto. So the community is threatening to kill the wife and the kids. So the police now decided now, instead of, because of the anger that the community has, wacha tuchukue hawa tuwapeleke to a safe place. Mimi niliona huyo auntie yangu, the wife to that dude. Nilimkimbiza na kisu. I have no clue where I got the knife from. I just remember myself running after that lady. And she was screaming. And screaming. Na polisi wako. So actually the only thing that made me stop was our Sunday school teacher. By the way, tupelekange watoto Sunday school. Yeah? Mimi nataka sasa ningekuwa Lang'ata sahi. Seriously. Like I don't even know where I got the knife from. Nilifukuzana na huyo mama. Like mtu amepossessiwa tu na mashitani fulani. I have no clue where I got the knife from mpaka wa leo. So my Sunday school teacher actually shouted. Hapana Flo, sijai kufunza hivyo Sunday school. I have never forgotten those words. I never taught you that in Sunday school.
And you stop.
Kwanza nilisimama katikati ya shamba. Kwanza nilisimama. And then you know the way like your senses come back to you. I dropped the knife because I was wondering sasa nilikuwa naenda wapi na kisu ni ya nini. So you know like I didn't know what was going on in my head. I have no clear collection of that. Sijui what was going on. So me nikasimama nika drop kisu, then I turned. Then he came running. So Upasi he came running after me, alafu akani hug. Then he told me it's okay. It's going to be okay. Like that was the first hug I ever got that felt, you know, like I can trust you with this.
This is a movie.
I know.
It is sad. It is painful.
A
Very,
lot.
very, very painful.
I don't know, it's not like we're talking about strangers here.
Yeah, these are your uncles. Actually, the people.
Like
who
I mean,
that.
when you, in your setup, when you're growing up, you have sisters and brothers, and you guys are told that unafaa upende, you know, your brother, correct them with love, you know, treat them this way.
And we also treat this uncle with a lot of respect.
Exactly. And then here we are. How do you start explaining now? It is my uncle, my own blood, who's killed my dad. Which we did.
And you have lost a sister.
Yeah. Out of all this drama. And they still are not remorseful. You've lost an entire year. Remember, 9 months I was in hospital.
And so now, what was their reaction after you lost the dad? Now this, they have lost a brother.
And you think it will end there?
No way. Now what?
Let me tell you. Do you know the day of the funeral? Because it took us like 2 weeks to plan. So the day of the funeral, ilibidi tukuja na mapolisi.
For security.
Yeah.
Now what?
Because remember
now
this dude kwanza, after alikatakata dad, he left. Like he flee. Akaenda akatoroka, akaenda akajificha. So alijificha the whole of the mwisho wa November, then December, then alishikwa January. So he was hopping from one corner to the other of vichaka na mashamba za watu. So there was a lot of speculation on where he was. So we weren't like this feeling this safe. So a lot of times we used to have police around us.
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely, yeah. And especially more so you.
Now let me tell you.
Because you saw what happened.
Me, I wasn't even worried because you know I have my mom here. Because you know mom is there. So you as a child you know it's gonna be okay.
You are protected.
Until tumemaliza funeral tu hivi. You know, it was a Saturday. Everybody else has left. We only slept in that house on Sunday. On Monday, my grandmother wakes up. Sitaki kuona wakamba kwa shamba yangu. We just left the funeral. Yani, do you know when unasikianga hapa hii mtu amekufa lakini he's busy turning on the in his grave.
In his grave, yeah.
May I think my dad turned that day.
He must have.
Can you imagine the audacity?
The courage.
I'm telling you, watu huku nje wako na nguvu wewe. Watu huku nje.
And people are evil.
People I'm telling you, then they have guts out here.
So it's like
tumemaliza
she's
mazishi
mourning
leo.
the loss of her son.
Tumemaliza mazishi leo. Tumeshinda Saturday mazishi, Sunday, Monday
You have to leave.
6 a.m. Kama maketu kama kawaida si nikelele asubuhi. She's there.
You guys have to leave.
Sitaki kuona Wakamba wake kwa shamba yangu. So now everything is hers. She wants to take over everything.
All the investment were done, and then the big house.
The big house, she wants the title deeds, she wants everything that we ever had. So my mom akamwambia ni sawa, acha nitafuta kwa kupeleka watoto wangu. So akapiga kelele akaenda. My mom actually alitumana. Jamaa akakuja akabeba vitu. Like alifagia hiyo nyumba yote. We left. Akarudi kwa
Ukambani.
Then now akaanza stories za kutafuta transfer, because you know now if you abscond duty, of course you lose your job.
Yeah.
So my mom, because you know now you're dealing with the loss of the husband, now you don't have a job, now you must stick to what you have. You're used to 2 salaries, now you have 1 salary. You're used to, you know, like that kind of lifestyle.
Yeah,
The change that's gonna come, it's gonna be big. So mimi na yeye shule, actually my sister had gotten a KCSE, she had gotten an A. She was in Kenya High. So akamaliza form 4, she finished 2 years ahead of me. So alikuwa campus. She's busy doing dental surgery. Yeah, a bachelor's in medicine, dental surgery. That thing is as expensive as anything expensive can be. So here we are. She's in her 2nd year and hakuna school fees, because you know my dad was the one doing the payment. So na mimi niko hapa nimemaliza
Form 4.
You score like a very brilliant girl. You're called to Nairobi University. Your mother is a P1 teacher. Your school fees is like 53,000 per year. Na hiyo sasa ni admission peke yake. Haujafikiria mtanunua vitabu, haujafikiria transport. You have no clue what to do. You have a sister who is doing medicine.
And you also need other basics.
You have a brother who is in class 7. You have a sister who is in class 3. Utaanza wapi? You see the dilemma my mom had? And all your children, they are very bright. Si ati ni watoto utasema aka wacha tukatafutie bwana kaolewe or anything of the sort. Ati ama tukatafutie shamba kakalime. Do you know, it fika at a point I told my mom, wacha, in fact when I got my admission letter, juu sasa situsharudi Ukambani.
Yeah.
When I got my admission letter to Nairobi University, nakumbukanga nikienda, I actually picked it from Nairobi University. It was my first time to go to Nairobi. I picked it up, nikaibeba. I read it, nikafika tea room. No, tea room ndio stage ya Meru. Sasa unafaa kwenda Meru. I looked at it, I looked at the fee structure, I looked at the admission, and I told myself, congratulations, Nkaba. You made it. But one thing you will not do, you will not add your mother pressure. So I took my karatasi, hapo tu stage. Nikaikunja vizuri, ndio kama nikunja karatasi yenye umekuchokesha.
Yeah.
Nikaikunja and I threw it kwa dustbin.
What?
Yeah.
Your admission letter.
My admission letter. Because I knew mali naenda hakuna pesa. Hata tukifanya nini.
So initially you had lost hope.
There wasn't any hope. Where was hope? Remember one, mali muko ni kuwekwa mumewekwa, mmerudi kwa nyanya yenu.
Your mom is a widow.
Your mom is a widow. She has children here to feed. She's a P1 teacher or primary. She has, you know. So I figured, Mtoto wangu hapa hata ukimwambia aje hii pesa she cannot raise. Hata ukimwambia afanye nini, hii pesa cannot come through. Hata akikuuza wewe, what do you do? Nikachukua kakaratasi kangu nikakakunja nikatupa. Nikapanda gari. Nikapanda gari ya kurudi Meru. That karatasi by the way nilirudishiwa na makanga. You know the way I think he just saw like how angry I was and how frustrated I was. So he just was there and you know he came akanipatia ile nini. Akanipatia ile karatasi. And then you know he told me hakuna haja ya kutupa hii karatasi. So umepata upelekea mzazi. It is not written you. It is not written dear mother. It is written dear parent. Pelekea mama. She will know what to do with it. Nikamwambia hata nikipeleka hapo nyumbani hakuna mahali nitatoa pesa. And the reason why I threw this paper, it's because I know my mother cannot afford it. You see. So now here we are, and my mother cannot afford school fees. Yeah, she cannot afford anything for us. The drastic changes that have happened, you cannot elaborate. Okay. You cannot be able to elaborate anything. So I'm so frustrated here, and I'm desperate to go to school, but you don't know what to do. So nikachukua karatasi. Okay, the makanga managed to convince me by the way. That thought, sijui hata sijui mali yako by the way, but that dude did a good job that day. He managed to convince me. Nikachukua karatasi yangu. You know they usually, they're like 3, eh?
Yeah.
And then they're usually colored. Yangu kwanza ilikuwa ya green. I've never forgotten that paper. Ilikuwa ya green. Alafu ndani kuna kashiti ya white ndio ilikuwa face structure. So me I took it, nikapeleka nyumbani. So I went and looked at my mom's face. Nikajua huyu mama ile stress ako nayo. Hakuna nini. Hakuna kitu anaweza sema anything yenye tunaweza ni. By the way, and then you see out of the fact that nilikuwa nimepita, the entire village knew. You see the way, you know the way nini watoto wa ushago wakipita mtihani, the entire village comes to celebrate. So they had done that. Yeah? So in fact tulileteangwa news saa moja. You know, mtoto wako amepita hata kwa gazeti. You know?
Yeah.
You know the way, because we had one dude who used to take us photographs. And then he's the one who used to get us gazeti. So the first stop ya gazeti hata zikifika wapi Konde ilikuwa kwake. So he's the one who came to announce. So yeye amekuja amefurahi mtoto wetu amepita. So I'm like, dude. Sasa hapa hata tukipita, what next? So kwa hiyo sarakasi, the area, you know, I told you my dad was like a favorite in the community.
Yeah.
So the area DO akasikia that mtoto amefanya nini? Amepita mtihani. So kumbe the scholarships that they usually come through the DEO's office, the district education officer's office. So yeye na ni jirani tu amepata zile applications za USAID. Akaletewa. So the first stop, actually he rode his bike kutoka some distance like more than 50 kilometers kuniletea hizo karatasi. So kaniletea, kaniambia jaza, alafu nipatie passports. So you know the passport photos.
Yes.
So I had to go back to our photo man now, nimwambie tunahitaji photographs. Tukapiga picha, akatoa, tukapeleka. So after that, we never heard back from USAID. So you know, we are like, so this thing didn't go through. Kumbe, hata shida si USAID, shida ni kwetu. We didn't have a PO box. So PO box ya kucommunicate hata barua itatumwa wapi. So tukaka. Then we were supposed to report in September 2008. So this is happening in 2007. Yeah, my dad dies in 2007. 2008, I'm supposed to report. Then now, I don't have school fees. The distance between property and poverty for my mother is 3,000 shillings. That's like what? $30?
$30.
So that's the distance between what? Property and poverty. And my mom, being the woman of faith that she was, she tells me, Nikatha, hata ukikaa hapa, the best that will happen is you find a dude here, akuoe.
You get married.
And your life ends. Tukienda shule, the worst that can happen ni watufukuze, watuambie huwezi ingia shule. So what do we do? You remember the story in the Bible of the lepers at the gate, at the beautiful gate. Yeah. So these lepers, you know, for them, they were like, if we stay here, we'll die of hunger. You know, they're outside the gate. Yeah. So if we stay here, we'll die of the hunger because we've been excommunicated because of our leprosy. So if we go inside, the worst that they can do is kill us.
It's killing us.
So either way, we are dead. So what's the chance? So let's go inside, let them kill us.
And get killed.
Yeah. So they go inside and they're given food. They're not killed. You see? Yeah. So my mom was also of the same. So she told me, tukika hapa, utaolewa tu. Yeah? That would be my death. So technically, you will die out here. Yeah. If you go out there to that school, the worst that they can do is chase you away. Na si uko na fare ya kurudi.
Yeah.
Sasa utarudi tu. Yeah. That's the worst that they can happen. The worst that can happen is someone telling you no. Yeah. But if there's nothing they can do beyond that, then take the chances. So my mom and I, we took the chance. Tukaenda. Nairobi University, we reported. Then unajua kureport, unareportingi first stop G3. G3 is where the rubber meets the road. Unaulizwa pesa iko wapi? Sasa hiyo mimi niko na nini? Elfu 3. Sasa utoe transport. Toa transport ya watu
wawili.
Umebaki na ngapi?
1,000.
The distance between you, property and what?
No, it's 1,000.
It's 1,000. $10 between you, property and poverty.
It's actually around $9.
Yeah.
Right now, dollar is a little high.
So you can imagine now. So we go to G3 and we try to explain why we don't have school fees. Why we haven't, you know, because unafika hapo kila mzazi ako na receipt yake ya banker's check. Tumeenda tumedrop, tumelipa mtoto aingie shule. Here I am. I have no school fees. You know, that dude looked at me and he was like, Nairobi University, you don't have school fees. Why did you come?
Why are you here?
Why did you come in the first place? Sasa hiyo unajua tumechapwa na vumbi ya Tharaka.
So initially hamna hata fare ya kurudi, right?
Hatuna fare ya kurudi. We only left with 1,000 shillings. So how do you go back? Tumekuja watu wangapi? Yeah.
Now what happened after that?
So the dude, you know, my mom now insists. By the way, kuna scholarship apply. My mom, by the way, insisted on that thing. And akaulizwa scholarship then. Aka explain. You know, she didn't even know it was USAID. So the dude now starts going through the papers ya scholarships zenye zilikuwa zimeawadiwa nini. Only for him kufika kwa list ya USAID, and I was number 3.
What?
Kwa list.
Wow.
That was actually the first step that I realized, faith it until you make it.
Kabisa.
Until today, even where we are seated. By the way, I booked this house without rent. So that's why I'm telling you, faith it until you make it. With faith. Imagine now, if I hadn't left Tharaka to come to Nairobi to report.
You would have lost a chance. Just like that.
Just like that. These guys, you know, when we followed with USAID, they told us, we sent you letters, there was no response. We tried to call the numbers, phones, of course, your time hakukuwa na simu, nile simu ile ya, you know, the long antenna, hata sijui zilikuwa zinaitwa ile Siemens. Your time. That was the thing.
Na mko Ukambani, so hata network.
So hakuna hata kupata mtu ni ngumu. So, you know, I report. I get my school fees is paid. Apparently there's some 12,000 waiting for me. There's some books that had been bought. There was a house that I'd been given. Actually it was a 2-bedroom house that was already paid for. So my rent is covered. So I don't have to strike.
Like everything is covered.
Everything is covered. 12,000 is for me to go do the shopping outside for food. Juu huko shule nishanunuliwa vitabu, my library fee is paid, my computers classes are covered, my everything else is done. So kama kungekuwa na uniform, hapo ningekuwa nishanunuliwa uniform. So
that's God.
That is God.
That is God.
I'm telling you, that is God. So me nikaingia. You know, naingia kama regular student. So nimeingia kama regular. And then I go through the documents because you see at that point now after Tushar admit you the following day now you are called to the office ya USAID. So we went, a lot of us, actually more than 50 guys. Tukaenda. I don't know, this is a countrywide application, na mko 50 peke yenu. So you can imagine in a pool of over thousands and thousands, you only picked 50 of them. So tukaenda. So we went, we were given documents to go through, then I realized my scholarship is for 5 years. Because you see, they take that you're doing undergraduate for 4 years, and then you know in between now there's that 1 year break. Regulars by the time unamaliza 5 years zimeisha. So nikiingia mimi venye I went through the document, and you know ni vizuri ukumbukange mahali umetoka by the way. It's very important, never forget. Sasa mimi nimefika, and one of the guys actually tells me it is possible to do a para for 2 years. And then you do a master's for 2 years. So me, I'm here to maximize my 5 years. Remember, sina fee. So nikisema tunafanya undergraduate niachie hapo kameugua. You know? So me nikaingia. I worked. Let me tell you, I studied. Now, the amazing thing, actually I laugh at it until today. It figured a point with, you know, I took finance. So when you're doing finance, you're told to take a minor. You know, like some subjects to complement the mathematics you're doing. And a lot of people were doing marketing. So I was told to go do marketing. Do you know I got a receipt in introduction to marketing? Like I failed terribly. I got a receipt in that paper. Introduction to marketing. And it is theory. It is not at mathematics nini. Remember finance, tumezoea gidhafu. Hapa tunakula mahesabu tukukula. I was so good with mathematics. I did mathematics proper. Come to marketing. My friend, I got a receipt. And that's how I changed from marketing to accounting. Because I wasn't ready to drop my marks, because remember, if I drop here, then it means my scholarship is over at this point. You get that? Yeah, I get that. Because every semester we were taking back our report cards to this sponsor who sponsored us. So you have to take back good grades, otherwise the scholarship is over. And your life depends on it. So me, I was like, no, I'm not getting.
But initially, ulisoma na ukamaliza.
Me, I did my degree in BCom. So I got a first class in finance. Nikachomoka. The next, before even graduation, I applied for my masters. Nikamaliza. You know. Yeah. So in these 5 years, USAID covered for me. You get, because of, you know, of course my background and me knowing how you know, like I needed to be aggressive in this area, because you know, yeah, you're also dealing with kids from, you know, these well communities, these well families. Na mimi niko tu hapa nimesaidiwa. So I took advantage of that. I moved to Para, so nikatafuta job mchana. So mchana naenda kazi CIC, and then jioni naenda class.
And you went through everything, ukasoma, you graduated and all that. Now,
so let me take you back. After, while in school, remember bado I'm a refugee. So after nimefika nyumbani, after tumefukuzwa, my mom was told that I'm in Atasiti. So you know I had to go into hiding.
Oh, so your dad case is still following
you? It's still following me. And my mom here, you know, like lazima upeleke uandikisha statement, nini. So I andikisha my first statement, ikapotelea mahali. Na huko. You know? Na huko
kawaida yake.
Ikapotelea somewhere, na huko.
Someone ate it.
So, and at this point now, you know, we are talking about 2011 when I graduated from my undergrad. Then we're talking about 2013 when I finished my master's. So in these 2 years here, Mathe amefuata kesi. Yeah? And you know, one by one, the witnesses are being eliminated.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. Let me tell you, let me be honest.
Were the family members?
The witnesses were family members. But you see, the community itself were involved. Like directly, every family was involved. You know? Because you see, you have witnesses, who is me, the key witness here, and then you have now the people that came to give their statement, like in terms of how we found the guy.
The ones who responded to your cry.
Yes, to my screams. They also had to give statement, and they're also villagers. So within these 2 years, we had lost more than 5 guys. Ile wanauliwa and you have no explanation. Wanauliwa and you have no explanation for it. You get? So one by one, guys are dropping. One by one, guys, you know, like the case cannot go far in such.
With no
so
evidence.
it took them about 2007 to 2011. That's the time now. Like that's about 4 years. Then the guy in around sometime in May, April thereabout, the guy was given a bond. Remember, Guka doesn't have a say in this house. So what happens is my grandmother now forces my Guka apeane title deed ya shamba yake. Ndio kijana yake atoke. And the reason she's giving is huyu mmoja ashakufa. Sasa akishakufa na tuwezi mfufua, what happens to this other one? Wacha tu simamie mwenye yako uhai. The killer. Akapewa nini? Bond. The guy comes out. Do you know it took him less than 3 months to hunt my mom down? It's not like he went back home. You can't go back to Nkondi if you're a murderer.
But now, you guys left Meru,
Yes.
you went back to Kambani.
Yes.
Now, why is he hunting your mom? For what?
Because she's the one following up with the case.
Oh, okay. I get
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
So he wanted your mom to drop
Yes.
the case.
And because now, of course, after all the threats and whatnot, my mom couldn't listen. She was also killed.
Wait.
Yeah. By the same person. Kwanza alimdunga na mishale. The poisoned ones. The poisoned arrows.
So he killed your dad.
Yeah.
Who was
In
put in
07, he went to jail for like 3.5 years. Came back, plotted and killed my mom. The same dude. The same guy. Then he disappears.
So he followed your mom all the way to Ukambani.
Yeah.
And killed her.
And now remember, you have case number
Now you
1.
have no parents.
Now you have no parents. You have nobody
Killed
to
by
run.
the same
By
person.
the same person.
And was a family member.
Yeah. Na yeye sasa hiyo amesimamiwa na sister yake. The sister was also a teacher. Na huyu jamaa, by the way, I didn't mention, huyu jamaa ni father alimsomesha. My dad. Amemsomesha, akamtafutia job, so he was working as a teacher, employed by TSC. So it's not like this dude didn't have a life. He had a life.
How did he kill him?
And Motunga is a Kamba, and this dude is a Kamba. So it was like, you know, these are family matter. You guys, you need to sort this. We're not, you know, like discussing
don't
this
wanna be involved and
if you're not going to help us. So you're gonna sort this. So after that, now the case was moved from Meru to Nairobi. You know, so si jamaa wakajua sasa hapa kimeumana. So their lawyer now reported to them. Kawaelezea what's happening, what's going to happen, what not. So si ndio hiyo time sasa ikabidi now they plan now how to get rid of this dude. Because you know this dude is a spoiler.
Yeah.
He's more connected. He's richer than these guys we were talking to. So technically, here we have no case. So actually, Kilonzo was kidnapped. He was kidnapped. And you know, by the way, he was this, kind of a secret service guy. That's, the way they do their things in secret without, the way you just watch them in movies do stuff, yeah? You won't know they can even fake to be prostitutes, they can fake to be what?
Yeah.
Kilonzo was that kind of a dude. Like, a lot of us didn't know what Kilonzo used to engage in.
And you're talking about Kilonzo, the Mutula Kilonzo?
No, we're talking about Kilonzo now, the cousin to mom.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
So this guy, he was so secretive in his ways that it was very difficult for these guys to get to him. So we actually got shocked that they got to him. You know, because he was kidnapped in Meru town and his body dumped in a forest. And when we traced when we trace back the location of his phone, we find it in the lawyer's house. Like the last place it was on, it was in the lawyer's house. Yeah, like the killer's lawyer kwa nyumba yake. So technically this guy was killed there. Actually alikatakatwa na power soup. So he was killed there. Mwili yake ikachukuliwa and was dumped in Mount Kenya forest. So yeah, we come to find Kilonzo like about 1-2 weeks later, when his body is already decomposing. So what do? You do a burial and you move on. So at this point now, everybody is so scared. Nobody wants to discuss this issue. Yeah. Nobody wants to be involved in it. Even if you call for witnesses, nobody wanna come out. No one wants to be, like, because they know their life is in danger here. Yeah. So I'm in Nairobi, and after, of course, we did my mom's burial, I go to Nairobi, and they find me. They found my toys.
In campus or?
No. Remember, I told you nilikuwa Lower Kabete. So nikatoka regular, nikaingia para classes, they were usually in main campus. So in town. So na mimi time, because you need that convenience ya asubuhi juu unaenda kazi, ikabidi ni tokange Lower Kabete na kuja town, then naenda class jioni, then I go back to Lower Kabete. So the first time they found me in Lower Kabete. So I left Lower Kabete. Nikahama. I went to jificha in Donholm. Nikakaka hapo, then out of vile umepatikana, there's always that that anxiety at the back of your mind that nikika hapa sana wanaweza nijua niko hapa. So I moved from there, I went to Pipeline. Now the population in Pipeline kind of gives you the confidence that hapa hivi by the time wananifikia itakuwa ngumu. And of course in Pipeline a lot of people are cows. So I was like, hapa niko na wakamba wenzangu, so niko home. I stayed there for like about 2 years, and the second year, but then they had sent me like more than 50 threats on SMS. So I used to go and report. So watu wa Embakasi police station, I think they had gotten used to me. So unaenda una report, unapewa tu OB, wanakwambia hii tumezoea. The next one hii ni ya Kameti. The next one achana na hiyo. Until that evening, actually now this time, they knocked my door.
What?
They knocked my door.
In Pipeline now.
In Pipeline. And mali nimejificha hii Pipeline. Siti ni ile Pipeline ati kwa lambi pale Transami. My friend ni ndani mali ulikuwa unavuka tu line ya sewage hivi, umefika Mukuru kwa Njenga. Like niko tu na huko ndani, place yenye nobody can think you'd kwa slum katikati, nobody would think you can be there. So now I stayed there until that evening when they knocked my door. They knocked my door, and then of course my daughter was there, and so she's like, "Mom, kuna mgeni." I'm like, "No, we don't have guests. We're not expecting anybody right now. So usifungue mlango." I actually took a padlock, nikalock. Nikamwambia kama mnataka nini? Sasa hiyo unaongea ukiwa ndani na wako nje. So they are not talking. Nikamwambia mkae hapo tutakutana asubuhi. And by the time unaamka asubuhi, of course you've already alerted a few guys, and you call of course the caretaker nini. So they were taken away. So the following morning, hata sikutoka. Nilita trailer ya kunihamisha hapo. I called a truck hapo.
Yeah, you had to.
Nikamwambia hata sina pesa lakini nataka unipeleke Kikuyu. And I have no idea Kikuyu inaenda kwa nani. So I just nikamwambia wewe nitoa hapa nipeleke Kikuyu. So tukabeba vitu. Of course I didn't have much because you see it's a single room, and when you're running, when you're on your run you don't carry a lot. So I only had viti, like the 5-seater zile za butterflies za kitambo, then of course a kitanda, and then mitungi za maji na gas na kameza, nothing better to write home about. So tukapack tukaenda na pick up kama. We left tukaenda Kikuyu. So mimi natafuta nyumba kama pick up imefagia vitu zangu
inakufuata.
So mimi nikamwambia hata kama ni wapi tutapata. By good luck nikapata nyumba ya 2 bedroom that was going for 10k. So mimi nikamwambia mama, sina hata deposit, utangoja pesa mwisho wa mwezi. And she was like, okay, ni sawa mama. Siwe ni mtoto yangu kuweka. Actually, yeye alikuwa anaishi chini na mimi nilikuwa naishi juu. So nikamwambia ni sawa. I won't be late with your money. I'll make sure I have covered you all through. So si mwisho wa mwezi now from my job venye tulilipwa because we used to get paid on 24th. Kaeka withdraw pesa nikampatia. Nikamwambia okay sawa. Sasa si tuko sawa mama. Ananiambia ni sawa ni msichana wangu, haina shida. Tukikuwa na shida kuja niambie. So I stayed with that mama for like 3-4 years. Then now I got a job to come to Nakuru. So when I got the job, I had, like now settled because I knew Kikuyu sasa itakuwa ngumu sana for them to even track me. So I even changed my SIM cards, and covering my tracks or what. I wouldn't, like, by the way, that trauma lasted so long that ningekutana na wewe town na unaongea Kimeru, I would like piga kona vibaya sana. I wouldn't even, like, I never used to talk to anybody from Meru. Never ever. We meet with you, uongee Kimeru, we are done with that conversation. We are done. Like, I never used, in fact, I used to see like everybody who, even if you had good intentions, because you see in life there are people with good intentions. Yeah, but you see, even if you had good intentions for me, then, I mean, Apple,
it's not easy to trust.
By the way, and then now you make a mistake of telling me ati kwenu ni Meru. Mimi. Nikadha Meru.
Unadhania tu ni another spy.
Me, I was like, wao kwanza umetumwa. By the way, that's how I have had even my campus friends. Like, because a lot of them, we're from Tharaka, we're from Meru, so we schooled together, and then tumekutana kampo. Mimi niliwahepa vibaya sana. They can even tell you mpaka wale. Yani even gatherings, mali kuna gatherings sijui ati mnaenda sijui wedo, sijui mnaenda mazishi, sijui mnaenda. I never used to attend those things.
And I feel you.
I never, in fact most of my friends never understood why I never went. I would actually send you like 1,000 shillings. Nikwambia congratulations.
And you don't want to say
ukinita harambe yako, come and I'll clap for you, but from a distance.
And you don't want to share with anyone because you cannot trust
anyone.
You
don't know who is who. You can't.
So at what point did they stop following you up?
They actually didn't.
Up to date? Up
to date. But you see now, it figures a point, you're like, you can never run forever. Sometimes you need to stop and face your ghosts. By the way, that's how I came to, like, publicly say I'm in Nakuru. Yeah, because I realized, you will run for so long, you will not accomplish, you'll not live any that life of yourself. Yeah, you will never be yourself, because at the end of the day, you have someone on your back. They still call me, by the way, those aunties of mine, they still call me, oh, your cousin has finished, sijui which course mutafutia kazi. And I'm like, dude, see your life.
And how about the uncle that killed your dad?
The guy is roaming somewhere. Actually, just recently I learned that he killed someone.
Again?
Yeah.
And why is he walking free?
That's our biggest question, and probably nobody will ever give us an answer for it.
Is he protected, you think?
I don't think so, but I have no clue why he's never arrested, by the way. Because you see, just recently, after he killed my mom, alitoroka Meru. So he went to live in Mombasa. So he laid down for a while, and then now he's back. Because you see, you can never murder someone.
But this is a killer. He shouldn't be walking.
He shouldn't. But you see, you can also never murder someone and go scot-free.
Nah.
Even if the government lets you down, even if the judiciary lets you down, even if everybody else lets you down, there's someone called God, my friend.
That's true.
That dude, huyo mjamaa anaitwa Mungu. By the way, msicheze naye. On a serious note. Seriously. And I tell people, even my friends know that. If you ever doubted whether God existed, just look at my life. Don't even go far. Look at me. If you know Mkatha, in fact, yesterday I was sharing the story of Ndongonyoro with one of my friends, because where my sister is married, and of course we are like cousins. So I sent him the link, nikamwambia wewe soma uone. Then he was like, dude, chill. I read this story last year and I didn't know it was you. Like, how now? I was like, yeah, you know, it was...
You have gone through a lot, and
Yeah.
I love the fact that you're still strong, still fighting.
Let me tell you, you know...
Focused.
Yes, and we thank God because the grace is sufficient. You see, it's not everybody who goes through what I went through and still stands.
No,
It's not.
no.
And that's why you see, you know, you see some people telling you were being baptized by fire, and you're thinking, baptism zingine.
No,
But you see, again, it also makes sense from, if you look at it from their angle, because you see, when God sends you to an assignment, He'll never send you to an assignment that you're not prepared for. You see, you first do the test, then you get the certificate. You see, more like the school culture we have. You do the test, then you get
the certificate.
You see, it's the same thing with God. You know, when He's preparing you for a battle, He never tells you that, you know, I'm sending you out first.
Yeah, this is what I
You'll easily die. So He prepares you for it. And I think all along my journey, all the ups and downs that I've been through was actually preparing me for Frolix. Because you see, with all that,
yeah, you're right.
With all that, I'm able to be a shoulder for other people who've gone through the violence that I went through.
And the threats. And
Yeah. Because you see, with trauma, let me tell you, even if, like I was telling you earlier, with trauma, you never get over it. It's not something that you sit down and you're like, this one is gone.
From today, no more.
That is from now, right now, it's not something you wish away.
Now, Gather, you know, your story is really touching. Really touching. You saw your sister die. You've seen your dad.
Actually, I've never gotten over the fact that they buried my sister without me.
Because you were in the hospital.
Yeah, because I was hospitalized. You know, that is number one. I think the reason why I was kind of very bitter with the whole, you know, the whole, not my family really, but the whole case of, you know, my grandma and my uncles being responsible for it. It was one of the reasons why I was like, I held on to that anger for so long. Because it took me like 13 years. Yes, like 13 years to even get to say that I forgive you. Let me tell you how that happened, because
I know saying that, like, I forgive you, that word does not come.
Yes, it never comes easily. You see, and that's why when you come to counseling sessions and counseling classes, we never force people to forgive, guys. No. It takes a lot of strength and a lot of courage.
Yeah, because you may say I have forgiven and you have not. These things will come from your heart. Yeah.
And remember that actually that morning, it was January of 2019. I'll never forget that day. January of 2019. This murderer uncle, this killer uncle of mine, calls me. And this time is after ametukana sistangu, our elder sister now is a dental surgeon. Walimtusi na nini, because you see, after they killed my mom, they expected that watapata the documents, zenye, you know, za nyumba, shamba, nini, but they didn't. So my sister had them. So now, wakati juu wanaitisha, my sister refused to give them. So wakamtusi, nini. So now this evening, he calls me. And, you know, I pick up because, you know, I had already transitioned to Frolix. So I pick up and, you see, of course, with this journey comes getting calls from various numbers that you cannot even ignore. So I pick up the call and it's him. He's like, I wanted to talk to you regarding the shamba at home. So I'm like, hold on. Which shamba are you talking about? You know, and he's like, hiyo shamba, mali nyumba imejengwa, nilikuwa nataka hizo documents. Nikamwambia, ni documents tu ulikuwa unataka. Then you'll have to deal with Gasheri because mimi sina documents. So he was like, no, Gasheri won't even talk to me, nini. So I told him, no, if she can't talk to you, then there's nothing I can do for you. Why are you calling me? Ati hata uwezi ongea hata na lawyer nitafutie hizo documents aniletee nini. Ngambia no. And by the way, I know hujatuambia pole. You have never said sorry for making us orphans and for causing us a lot of pain. And this is on phone, by the way. So he even went silent at this point. He never wanted, like, he never said even a single word. I told him, no. You see, you've never sat down to reason, to think and see what you put us through all these years. And you know what? You haven't even told me sorry, but I forgive you. That was the first time I felt so relieved.
And that is where the healing process for you can be done.
Yes. Because you see, you can never let someone, you can never heal unless you let go. Unless you let go. And see, it took me 13 years to figure that out. Because all along I was so angry, and out of all, you know, like the paranoia that I had developed, I had built 1,000,001 walls. Like, by the way, even me inviting you here, it means that, you know, I have dropped a couple of walls.
Kabisa.
Because I would never sit down to have this discussion with anyone.
Yeah, because you cannot even trust me whether I'm
No,
coming here to
exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
And then, you know, out of that paranoia that you develop, no, because remember you're on the run, and a lot of your life is on the street, you know, because you're not, you pick a lot of characters, a lot of behavior, a lot of, you know, everything else, lessons and whatnot from the street. Like, they teach you a lot, by the way, on defense and, you know, defense mechanisms and whatnot on the street. There's a lot that you learn there, both good and bad. You see, and you see, because of all the paranoia that I had built this huge wall. So, and it was like, you know, now you cannot reach me. Like, you cannot reach Nkadha that you know. The Nkadha you're talking to is the Nkadha who will laugh on your face. Nkadha who will talk to you on the face. But reaching that inner Nkadha and getting her out, it was impossible. You know, and at that point, you know, because you see, essentially, naturally, I am an introvert. Like, I love my own space. I love my peace. I'm the kind of person, as long as there's food in the house, as long as I have water, as long as I have electricity and I have internet, I can live in an island alone. I won't even care who is there.
You don't even care about mingling and having a social life and all that.
I don't mind living in my closed door. In fact, not even once or twice, I've had neighbors come checking on me. Kwani ulikufianga huko ndani? Because, you know, they've never seen, like, for a whole week, they'll never see me go out. They'll never hear me talk. They'll never hear me, like, calling them out. Niko tu kwa nyumba.
Imagine, Gatha, I feel you. And now, because of time, can you please talk to someone out there who is going through the same thing you went through, or even worse?
So actually, one thing that I'd like to say is it is okay not to be okay. It is okay not to be okay.
That's powerful.
You have gone through a lot. You have survived. You have, you know, you've come this far. You didn't die. You know, like, along the way, just like the Bible says that you will walk through the valley of the shadow of death. So trust the process. It is your exam. So go through that. When you're done, then let's now talk about the results. Did you pass? Did you fail? Did you need encouragement? Did you get it? Did you need grace? Did you get it? You know, let's talk about that situation. Okay? And in fact, I tell people, healing is a process. You don't just wake up and heal over trauma. I took 13 years to say I forgive you. And that was very powerful.
Very powerful.
To say I forgive you, 13 good years. We all heal differently.
It is powerful. I believe it because I know we have several people who are taking this world to the grave. They will never say it no matter what. So, I applaud you for that, because for me, I believe forgiving, it is a starting, you know, it is a starting of a healing. So once you forgive, you are able to heal.
You see, like, once I forgave him and I let it go, I was actually able now to build Frolics from a perspective of not a victim anymore.
And you're not even hiding anymore.
You see, you are able to go meet people there. You'll meet various different people. Some people, of course, they may not have good intentions, but a lot more people out there have good intentions, and they are willing to help. You only have to know which place to ask for that help. So I have come this far, by the way, not because I did it myself, but I said the grace sufficient. So if you look at my post, a lot of times I keep on telling people, Neema inatosha. It's because we don't do these things on our own. You don't. And if anybody out there actually ever doubted God existed, my friend, look at
They
my
should
life.
watch your story. They should watch
Yes.
and listen to your story.
Look at my life, because my life itself is a whole testimony that you can go through the valley of the shadow of death and still come out a victor,
stronger and a victor.
bigger and better than you got in there. So
Wow.
it's possible.
Thank you so much, and thank you for coming. For letting me into here to your place. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your story. It is touching. It is painful, and I am sorry for all that you went through. But again, I am very thankful because I've been able to pull it through. You are a strong woman. You are an amazing woman. I love, I just love how you post things on Facebook, how you encourage other people. And I can say for me, it is a dream come true because I have met you after looking for you for several years. And actually, I saw your post when I was still in the USA. I didn't have a YouTube channel, but I was like, I kept your story. It was actually like a sneak peek. It was not all this detail. And I am happy. I love what you do it. We will come back to this. And oh my God, I don't know what to say.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations for all that you're going through. For what you have done. Congratulations for forgiving your relatives even after putting you in so much trauma and painful experience and all that. I applaud you for that. I am one person who believes in the powers of forgiveness, because sometimes people don't even know how much we put ourselves in a shell by not forgiving other people. So once I will say you are a very strong woman, a phenomenal, an amazing woman, and all those beautiful names are the ones that I would love to give it to you. So again, thank you, and I'm hoping to host you again, hopefully very soon. And asante sana. Do you have anything to tell my viewers? Everyone will subscribe, maybe they will listen
by
to
the way, you might want to subscribe to this YouTube channel where we bring hope. We are survivors telling our stories and impacting one life after the other. So kindly join hands with us and let's do this together.
Alright, so thank you guys for watching. Please continue subscribing. Thank you so much for supporting me. For those who send me or DM me, I still appreciate you. Thank you for liking. Continue asking your fellow people, your fellow families and friends to subscribe and to support my YouTube channel. I am here just to give you hope. That is the only thing I want to give back to the society. Through Mugao story, I think we have learned a lot. If you're there and you felt like, oh, I do not need to see the next minute, look at her now. See what she went through from her childhood to date. And now she's here protecting other people's life. So learn something from her, learn something from my YouTube channel, and bring more people. You are allowed to share this story because it's not for me. It is for you guys. So I still emphasize, do not lose hope. We still have a long way to go. And also remember this, we have God, who is our fighter. He will be there for you. In case you have that thing telling you, oh, you cannot make it. My friend, we have fought so many battles and we are here. We can say there is God in heaven who will fight for you and will come out a victor and stronger. Thank you so much. We love you all. Until next time. Goodbye.